Hey guys, welcome to or back to our channel. I hope you're super excited for today's video. I know it's been a little bit of time since I've dropped an update video, but I'm going to explain kind of what's been going on and why that happened. So I appreciate you guys coming back for yet another update on our boys. They're all doing amazing right now, which is such great news for, I'm sure, you guys to hear. And it's just been honestly like a breath of fresh air for us too, just having all of this good stuff happening to us the last honestly month or so, maybe a little bit over a month. So I'm just going to go ahead and get right on into this video. Firstly, I wanted to say thank you to Cambry for sending this shirt. So cute. It's NICU Awareness Month if you guys weren't aware. I'm super pumped. I've been posting some stuff about the boys on our different social medias and just kind of acknowledging how amazing the NICU journey is, how proud I am of just our boys and how amazing they've done through this journey. It's just incredible to see all their progress and them fighting and just, I don't know, they're amazing. I love them so much. So like I said, let's get right on into this video and I'm going to give you guys some good updates. We have another day in the life NICU vlog going to be dropping on Thursday of this week. It has been a little bit since we've been able to film because we weren't able to go to the hospital for 2 weeks. It's kind of a long story, but basically just to protect the boys, exposure to COVID, and we didn't want to get them sick. So we had to deal with that, which was kind of a mess, and it really sucked not being able to see the boys, but we obviously wanted to keep them safe, and better safe than sorry to, with their health. So that's why we haven't dropped a video in a minute, just because I haven't really been able to give you guys much to go on, if that makes sense. So new video dropping Thursday, day in the life in the NICU, and then we have some really awesome videos coming up, and I know you guys have been waiting a long time to see a couple of these videos, so I promise they're coming. Also wanted to say I've made the decision to brand up and partner with some people and do some sponsorships. I have said this before, but I'll say it again. I do not work with brands or do sponsorships with people that I don't fully believe in 100%. It's not worth it to me to push these people onto you or their products. So I want you guys to have full confidence in knowing that I'm only going to promote stuff that I truly believe in and love the services or the products that these people provide. So bear with me as we kind of adjust to everything, this new lifestyle, the new brands and deals and sponsorships, and just making an adjustment to everything going on right now. I appreciate you guys' support and I love you all so much. The general update obviously was that we weren't able to go to the hospital for 2 weeks. The boys were in isolation, which was so annoying, but again, I'm glad none of them got sick with COVID. 2 of them ended up having to get tested just to be safe because they were showing maybe a little bit of signs that they were getting sick. Everything was good. It came back negative and we have been fine since then. Braxton and I are fine, feeling good. So I'm gonna start with Daxon because I never start with Daxon because he's in the middle and I always go either CDE or EDC, so let's start with Daxon today. So the biggest, most exciting thing with Daxon, and if you follow our social medias elsewhere, you'll know he got off the ventilator. So we were super excited. It was very unexpected, but I was so happy to see him come off of the ventilator, and he has made huge strides during this time in a short time, 2 weeks or so of him coming off the ventilator. So he came off of the ventilator, he went to NIPPV, which is non-invasive positive pressure ventilation, and that's basically just giving pressure through the nose with additional oxygen. He was able to get to the point he didn't need any additional oxygen, so he was able to move to CPAP, which you guys probably know what CPAP is, continued positive airway pressure. Then he was doing so good on CPAP, they moved him to just straight nasal cannula, which was crazy. I had no idea that that was going to happen as fast as it did, but he's doing incredible. He is hopefully scheduled to have his G-tube surgery next week. The only reason he hasn't had a G-tube put in yet is because, firstly, you can't have it when you're in isolation, so that delayed surgery a little bit, and then also he could have had it this last week because we were back at the hospital, but they want to do it with his primary surgeon that dealt with all of his esophagus stuff because they think it's probably going to be a staged surgery because his stomach has never had anything in it. So they said his stomach is probably this big right now, and so it's going to take a while to get on feeds and do that whole process. It's going to be a long time with him, so patience is a virtue. I know they're all making progress. It sucks sometimes. It feels like it's so slow, but I'm so thankful that we're at the place that we are. I love seeing him off the ventilator. It's the best feeling to just look at your baby and you can get him out now and hold him whenever you want without anybody's help, and it just makes you feel like a parent a little bit more, if that makes sense. And so it's really nice. It's been great for my mama heart for sure, and just so grateful that he's making improvements like that. So his surgeon was not here this week. He was out of town, and so we're hoping next week he can get in for his G-tube, get that taken care of, and hopefully he'll be able to start feeds and we can get his stomach a little bit bigger. And then craziness, the goal is we're gonna have a care conference and see kind of what the next step is from here. I know if you guys have watched my previous videos, we've talked about switching him to a different state, so I could potentially be moving across the country in a month or so, which is crazy. But after he gets that fixed, he's already on cannula, like it'll just take him a little bit to be, you know, on full feeds and everything, then he can come home, which is crazy. That's hopefully not like too far away. I've just been aiming that they would be home by Christmas. I don't think Ezra's gonna be home by Christmas, but regardless, the more the merrier. Home by Christmas. And if it's not by Christmas, like my birthday in March maybe? I don't know. Well, we'll just see. But they're making such big improvements and I'm just so grateful for it, honestly. So like I said, we'll have a care conference soon and discuss kind of the second opinion in fixing his esophagus and his esophageal atresia and kind of go from there. I don't really know like what the plan is in regards to that. I know there's like Ronald McDonald houses at a couple of these children's hospitals, so hopefully I'll be able to stay there. We talked about my mom and me rotating back and forth as far as who can stay with Daxon during that time. It's gonna be really hard to be away from Kroy and Ezra, but I know like this is part of being a mom and like I have to make sacrifices for Daxon and he needs this fixed, you know, so it'll be really tough if we do go down that route, but I'll obviously be vlogging the whole journey and keeping you guys updated along the way like I have been, so we will see. Just keep our family in your prayers and continue thinking of us that this process goes smoothly for us and Daxon. If you've been following our channel for a long time, you know that Daxon has struggled with pneumonia. He's had pneumonia like, I don't know, probably 7 times or something crazy in 4.5 months of life, which is just insane, and it has been really hard on us, definitely, seeing him get sick over and over and just like not understanding what was going on. We kept thinking that maybe it was from his pouch and his esophagus, but ever since he's been off the ventilator, he has not gotten sick. Please knock on wood and pray that stays this way. But he's done so good being off the vent, and I'm wondering if it was just like being ventilated for that long was just causing like recurring infections. So hopefully we're on the road to not getting sick anymore, no more infections, and I'm just praying it stays that way. He's done so well off the vent. Honestly, like if he keeps it up, he could be on room air in like a couple weeks. I feel like he's just done so well. So hopefully after his G-tube, they can get him extubated again really fast. I've heard that when babies go down for surgeries and they're not on vents, they try to get them back off vents as fast as possible. So hopefully we will be able to do that with him. He doesn't have his drain in his chest area anymore. They took out his chest tubes, which I told you on the last video, but now they pulled out his drain, which was like pulling out fluid from when he had his esophagus surgery. So that was exciting because now he gets to wear big boy clothes. He just still has an IV in his leg where he gets all of his IV nutrition, so he can only do stuff like without pants, but it's really fun to see them all 3 dressed up, and I waited 4 months to be able to see them all wearing their little outfits, so exciting for that. I think we are leaning towards getting his esophagus fixed now versus later. I know we were kind of debating that in the last video, but it just feels like it makes sense to go ahead and fix it since he's doing so well. I think the longer we wait, we're just kind of delaying the inevitable with him. If he's healthy and he's at a good place for surgery, I don't think it's going to make much of a difference if we bring him home and like let him get bigger, but we will just kind of see what they say in our care conference. It's crazy that we almost lost Daxon like a little over a month ago, and now he's on almost room air and is doing just amazing. He's coming off of a lot of his pain meds, so he's a little bit agitated, but he's doing really well despite the fact of that, and we're just so proud of him. Go Daxon, go. So next I'll talk about Ezra, because why not? So Ezra is also off the ventilator. We are not in the clear yet for not having a trach or not needing a trach, but I'm really hopeful that with this new team, he's on the chronic lung team, that they can get him fixed up, and hopefully we'll see where he can go from here. So he actually decided the day before his planned extubation that he was just gonna pull his tube out himself, and he's done that 3 times now. So I think he was just sick of it. He wanted it out. He was ready, and it obviously worked well in our favor because we're going on 3 weeks. This coming up Tuesday will be 3 weeks that he's been extubated and hasn't had to go back on the ventilator. So amazing for his lungs. We are so excited for this. Ezra has stressed me out beyond belief. Him and Daxon both have just given me so much anxiety, and they're doing so good right now. I also am able to go and just pick him up and love on him, and it's incredible. Like, it is the best feeling in the entire world. It just makes me feel so much more like a mom, and I'm able to just bond with them so much better, and it's been such a blessing having them all 3 off of ventilators for weeks now. So he did finish up his round of DART steroids, which was what kind of helped him get off and stay off the ventilator. He, when he was still on the ventilator, dropped so much in settings. So I'm very hopeful that we can hopefully continue that while he's off of the vent. We haven't been able to make much changes with him yet. We've stayed about the same because I I think it's really difficult when he's not getting as much pressure. He just has the little nasal cannula. He did get switched to a little elephant trunk thing, which I'll post a picture, but we short-lived that. He switched back to nasal cannula and he's done really well with it. We've only been able to wean him, I think, one time in a couple weeks, but one time is more than 0 times and he's not on a vent. So this mama is perfectly fine with that and I'm just happy with his progress. We're just gonna continue praying that he will grow and develop and that he hopefully won't end up coming home with a trach. I'm prepared for that if it does need to happen, and I'm totally okay, you know, with whatever he needs, but hopefully we can avoid it just because it is such a big thing and it's really difficult to think of how our lives will be in that situation. So just continue praying for his progress and that he can stay off the ventilator and just continue making big strides towards lower oxygen support, I guess. Ezra has been loving snuggles. He freaks out anytime I try to put him down now, so that's fun because he's a spoiled boy. He literally goes bananas, like balls to the walls whenever I put him down after cuddling. He wants to be snuggled all the time and he's definitely a mama's boy and I just love it so much. Like my heart, he knows I'm his mom. I've struggled so much with thinking like they don't know who I am, but I can tell now that he definitely knows I'm his mama. He loves doing tummy time. He loves like being on his little boppy chair, so he's doing so good. I think he's just loving having this tube out. He's done so well off of it and I'm just praying that it continues for him because he just deserves it. Like he just really deserves to have the same success as his brothers. He's on a very low dose steroid that's like a daily thing for him and I'm hoping, you know, that continues to be able to be weaned off and he won't need it. And then he also does have some medicine for like agitation just in case he gets a little cranky. So we're just kind of like monitoring him, keeping him comfortable, and hopefully continue, like I said, weaning his oxygen support. I know in the last video I told you guys that we were concerned he may have floppy airway. We're pretty sure now that he doesn't have floppy airway because of how much they were able to wean his pressure. And then whenever he pulled his tube out himself, it was a very scary moment at the hospital, but he was breathing a little bit on his own, and so they believe like he doesn't probably have floppy airway, which is great news because that was something that's like you can kind of not avoid a trach in that situation. So hopefully it's just he needs time to develop, get bigger, and let his lungs grow. Basically, they said that's the biggest thing with this is him having good nutrition and growing. And I think now that he's not on the ventilator, we're able to kind of, I don't know, wait it out a little bit more because he is able to move and, you know, have not as many developmental delays. You can tell just from Daxon and Ezra being intubated so much longer than Kroy that they are like behind versus kind of where he's at. Kroy like holds his head up, he's very alert, he'll look around, he like notices your face, and like Daxon and Ezra, I think just with them having that breathing tube in for so long, they're just kind of like, whoa, like I can move freely. Like they just are a little bit behind from Kroy, which is totally fine. They're all gonna move at their own pace. But I think it's great for them now that they're able to have that interaction. The nurses can get them out whenever they want and cuddle them, which is like probably one of the biggest blessings because they all got extubated right before me and Braxton had to go in quarantine and they were in isolation. So the nurses were able to hold them and snuggle them like the 2 weeks that we weren't able to be there, which is a huge blessing. Like that is just a God thing for sure. So yeah, he's doing great and I'm excited just to see them get bigger and grow, and not too fast though because it's so sad how fast they're growing. It's crazy. October 6th they'll be 5 months old, and you guys have been on this journey with me since I was pregnant and I just can't believe it's going by that fast. Like we're already that far out. It's completely insane to me. I'm just floored by it, honestly. So yes, we're getting closer and closer. Ezra, it's still like a long process. God works miracles, so I'm not saying he couldn't, you know, potentially just like flip a switch and come home sooner, but it's probably going to be a while regardless of if he gets a trach or not, that he's going to be in the hospital because he still has a lot of support breathing. So we'll see. It's all out of our hands, but all we can do is just hope and pray for the best. So Kroy boy, he's kind of bad, but I just love him so much. I love all 3 of them, but Kroy is something else. He is doing good, but we did have to make kind of a difficult decision with him over the last week or so. He has been on room air forever, which is great. He's not needing any additional oxygen support, which is fantastic because one less thing we don't have to worry about when he comes home is, you know, having him on oxygen support, as long as he doesn't decide he wants to have a freak out or something. We decided he didn't need his PDA fixed, as in the team, not me, but they decided everything looks okay with his heart and his PDA, so as he gets bigger he'll just outgrow that PDA and his heart murmur, so he doesn't need that fixed, which is great news. The problem with Kroy is that he's still working on feeds. We've been working on feeds since August 1st, so what, 6 weeks now that we've been working on feeds, 7 weeks, and the problem is every time he starts to kind of catch up and he's like almost hitting the max feeds that he's supposed to be hitting, they increase his feeds because he's gaining weight, and he just has a really hard time keeping up. Preemies just tire out really fast when they're eating. Like if you think of a normal normal baby who eats, they fall asleep when they're taking their bottle, but preemies, it's like so hard for them to eat. Like, we're asking them to do so much, and he just isn't really grasping it as fast as we would like. So we did decide, us and the team, that the best thing for him is going to be to have a G-tube put in. So same thing that Daxon is supposed to have done next week. So Kroy actually already did get a G-tube put in. It was a very fast thing. Like, I came back to the hospital after our isolation period and they wanted to do surgery the next day on Kroy. So I think that they were just kind of pushing for it, because at this point it's not good for him to continue sitting in the hospital. It's not good for his growth or development, and obviously, like, we want him home and he needs to be home. So it was a really difficult decision, but the team basically told us, like, we don't think he's gonna get there anytime soon, and we don't want him to continue just sitting here for months working on feeds. If he can go home, work on feeds, and the G-tube is not a permanent thing at all. Kroy also had something else that he needed to get surgery on and have repaired, so we decided, since he had to have that surgery anyways, we would just do the G-tube at the same time. That way he didn't have to go through more than one surgery. He was already going to be, you know, had his breathing tube put back in, intubated, and have a surgery. And so we made the decision to go ahead and do that at the same time as the other surgery. So he did so well. He did really good. He was so puffy afterwards. It was so sad, but he handled surgery well, and a couple hours after surgery they were able to take his breathing tube back out, and he was back on room air, which is excellent. And now we're in, like, really the home stretch of coming home. So it'll probably still be like a couple weeks, maybe a month, but he should be coming home super soon, which is such great news. I am a little bit overwhelmed because I really don't have anything done, and I've kept thinking I've had so much time to get everything done, and now it's like really close to being here. We have to do training tomorrow on the G-tube and learn kind of how to take care of it, clean him, do all of that stuff. So I'm excited to learn that and, you know, just be able to take care of him. We are just so excited that we're gonna have him home super soon and for everybody to get to meet him. I know a lot of people have been super concerned with, like, COVID and vaccines and all of this sorts with the babies. We're not requiring our family to have vaccines except for the ones that the NICU is recommending. So that's just our personal preference and choice with it. If, regardless, anybody who comes over has to wear a mask to see the boys, we're only letting family come over for a little bit of, you know, period of time when Kroy comes home, because that's what's best for him. And then we'll allow, like, our very close friends, and that will be it for a while. We're not going to be taking him places or exposing him to all these germs, and that's just how it has to be. I mean, he is preemie, but he's also a baby, and like all babies right now, it's a very scary time. RSV is going around, we're about to be in flu season, COVID, so I'm not risking bringing him home and then getting him sick. So that is kind of what we're doing with that. So basically on the home stretch with him, like, hopefully in a couple weeks or so he'll be coming home. Can't wait to film that vlog and drop it, because I know you guys are gonna be like, holy cow, like, what's going on? So very exciting, very exciting, and I just hope the other boys will just keep following. I know it's going to be a very staged process, but I'm okay with that because I know we're just one step closer every single day to all three of them being home. Their personalities are so funny right now. Kroy has definitely switched to the chillest, cuddly boy. He is so calm all the time. He literally just hangs out. The only time he even, like, whines is if he's trying to poop, because he struggles pooping. It's just funny, like, seeing their personalities coming out. Daxon and Ezra are completely insane, like nuts. They're always so feisty, freaking out, crying if you're not holding them. They're so needy. All three of these boys just, like, want attention, and it's so funny because I'm like, you guys can't do this when we all come home. Like, there's only me and Braxton. I'm like, you guys outnumber us, so you're gonna have to take it down a notch with this neediness. No, I actually love it so much. I love being needed by them. It's the best feeling in the world. So we are just continuing growing, getting bigger, and hoping for the best with these boys. I just appreciate you guys so much, all your patience, your confidence in our family, your encouragement, your prayers, your thoughts, all your nice words. We just love you guys so much. It doesn't go unnoticed, I promise. I'm so excited for the videos we have coming up, and I promise you guys will be too. If you guys have any specific videos you're thinking of that you'd really like to see, go ahead and drop them down in the comments. I have still a nursery video in the works. I can't drop it until it's done, so then the nursery is not done, as I've said. I have a pumping video that I really plan to drop within the next week or so, and of course day in the life vlogs are coming in the NICU. So much is happening right now. I'm so excited just for this process and to have you guys along for the ride. So thank you again for everything you guys do for us. We just love you, appreciate you, and I will see you Thursday for a day in the life vlog video.